You spend 18 years in a concrete cell for a crime you didn't commit. DNA finally proves your innocence. You are free. You sue the system, the county, the officers who locked you up for $36 million. You are about to win. You are about to expose them. And then, just as the system is against the ropes, a young woman disappears, and all the evidence, somehow, points directly to you. Is it the most unfortunate coincidence in history? Or is it the machinery of the system gearing up to silence you once and for all? This is the case of Steven Avery, a labyrinth where the truth is the first victim. To understand the 2005 murder of Teresa Halbach, we must first understand the injustice of 1985. Steven Avery was the odd one out in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, and Avery from the town's wrong kind of family. In 1985, Penny Bjornson is brutally assaulted on a beach. She identifies Avery. Despite having a solid alibi with 16 witnesses, Avery is convicted. 32 years. Case closed.
But Avery never stopped proclaiming his innocence. And this is where the system made its catastrophic mistake. For 18 long years, internal police reports suggested that another man, Gregory Allen, a known sexual offender, was the real culprit. The system simply ignored those reports. The year is 2003, and the Innocence Project finally intervenes. 18 years after his conviction, they demand DNA testing. The result? The DNA was not Avery's. It belonged to Gregory Allen. Steven Avery is exonerated. He is free.
Avery files a $36 million federal lawsuit. The defendants? Manitowoc County, Sheriff Thomas Kokurek, and District Attorney Dennis Vogel. The lawsuit exposes corruption, negligence, and possibly conspiracy. They were about to lose everything. The officers' depositions were scheduled.
October 31, 2005. At the cusp of this legal battle, photographer Teresa Halbach visits the Avery salvage yard for an auto trader job. It is the last time anyone sees her alive. Her vehicle, a Toyota RAV4, is found days later, concealed on Avery's own salvage yard. And then, in a burn pit behind his trailer, charred bone fragments are found. They belong to Teresa. Steven Avery is arrested for murder. The $36 million lawsuit evaporates.
This is where the story stops being a tragedy and becomes a judicial farce. The conflict of interest is so great it's impossible to ignore. The Manitowoc Sheriff's Department was being sued by Avery. Any officer from that department should never have gone anywhere near that crime scene. Sheriff Ken Peterson knew this. He gave a direct order. Manitowoc would only assist. The neighboring Calumet County would lead the investigation. Guess who volunteered to search Avery's property? Lieutenant James Link and Sergeant Andrew Colburn. The same two officers who were key witnesses in the $36 million lawsuit. The same two who faced professional ruin if Avery won. And this is where the convenient evidence starts to appear. Number 1. The magic key. Avery's trailer was searched 6 times by full forensic teams. Nothing. Then, on the 7th search, Lenk and Colburn enter alone. Minutes later, Lieutenant Lenk finds the key to Teresa's RAV4 on the floor, next to a bookcase. A key that appeared out of nowhere after the room had been shaken and checked by dozens of people. Number 2. The blood vial. Steven Avery's blood is found in the RAV4. Case closed, right? No. Defense attorneys Dean Strang and Jerry Butting made a chilling discovery. Avery's blood vial, stored at the courthouse since his 1985 case, had been tampered with. The box was open, the seal broken, and the cap of the vial had a tiny needle hole. Was this vial used to plant Avery's blood in Teresa's car? Number 3. The coerced confession. The system needed an accomplice, and they found him in Brendan Dassey, Avery's 16-year-old nephew with an IQ of 70. Detectives Fassbender and Wiegert interrogated him for hours. No lawyer, no parents. They promised him that the truth would set him free. But they didn't seek the truth, they gave him the truth. They told him what happened, and Dassey, terrified and confused, simply repeated their words. It was a manufactured confession, a masterpiece of psychological coercion.
The system didn't just find its culprit, it created its accomplice.
The result was predictable. Steven Avery was found guilty. Life in prison without the possibility of parole. Brendan Dassey, too. But what has happened since then? Where does the case stand today, October 19, 2025? Today, Steven Avery remains at the Waupun Correctional Institution. His appeals lawyer, Kathleen Zellner, one of the nation's top experts in exonerations, has been fighting relentlessly.
Zellner has filed multiple motions alleging Brady violations, that the prosecution concealed crucial evidence. The strongest evidence? A newspaper delivery driver who testified to seeing Teresa's RAV4 off the salvage yard after Avery allegedly killed her. Zellner has pointed to a new suspect, Bobby Dassey, Brendan's brother, who, according to her, lied on the stand and had motive and access. The Wisconsin judicial system's response? Denied. Appeal after appeal, denied. The judicial system refuses to reopen the case. They refuse to test the new evidence. They refuse to admit the slightest possibility of error. This case stopped being about the tragic death of Teresa Halbach a long time ago. It became a war between a man the system had already failed and a system that could not afford the luxury of admitting it failed twice. Is Steven Avery a killer? Or is he the victim of the most blatant planting of evidence in modern judicial history? The truth is, in Manitowoc County, those two things might not be mutually exclusive, but the system prefers a convenient culprit to an inconvenient truth. I want you to be the jury. Do you believe in the magic key and the vile blood, or do you believe that the system, when cornered, is capable of anything to protect itself? Leave me your opinion in the comments.